Welcome to the Ditzy Chicks with Jamie and Mary.
I'm Jamie.
I'm Mary. Hello, Jamie.
Hello, Mary.
Hello, Clarice.
Good to see you.
Did you, so, real quick.
Okay.
I saw this thing where, like, people swear in that movie, Silence of the Lambs, that they remember him saying, hello, Clarice. But when you watch the movie, he just says Clarice.
Is this a
What kind of fucking Mandela effect is that? Yeah.
He doesn't say hello?
I don't think so. And I even, like, I haven't recently watched the movie, but I watched the movie, and I swear he says hello. I'm going to have to rewatch it.
I will, too.
Yeah.
Because
It's also a fantastic movie.
yes.
Would you fuck me? I'd fuck me. When you've got a Leo rising.
Oh, my gosh.
Anyways, we're going to talk about prom today.
Yeah.
Because prom season is coming up, and I've seen a lot on my TikTok about current prom trends coming up. And it just made me wonder, like, what past prom trends have been. Where did prom come from? When was the first prom? So we're going to talk about that a little bit today.
That in instant replay.
What are you doing? We are recording. Why do you always do this?
You're not in the camera either. I'll get the door.
Don't let it hit you on the way out.
This is podcast.
But anyways, prom. I got my handy dandy cell phone.
There you go.
So according to history.com, the word prom is just the shortened version of promenade, which is a leisurely walk or place of walking, also used to describe movements in ballet and ballroom dancing. In the late 19th century, it morphed when promenade concerts often included attendees dancing in formal attire during Ivy League college festivities. So it started in the late 19th century, which is like the late 1800s, as just like a college type of thing. And it's not clear who hosted the first prom, but there is an article from December 5th of 1897 issue of the Harvard Crimson references junior prom and an 1895 diary entry from then Amherst student Dwight Morrow, who later served as an ambassador to Mexico and U.S. senator. It cited that he had been invited to a junior prom at Smith College. There's also an 1895 photo in the Smith archive that show a junior prom held at the school's alumni gymnasium. So again, like all college things.
Though.
This is for colleges, yeah.
Why did it get brought down to high school?
Prom gets popularized. The popularity of the dances quickly spread to high schools, becoming what Amy Best calls in her book Prom Night, Youth, Schools, and Popular Culture, hold on, this is a hard word for me in all three of my brain cells. Democratized. Yeah, democratized. That's not right. Democratized. Version of the debutante ball. The prom afforded anyone attending high school the opportunity to feel as though they were too coming out, that they could transcend the boundaries of class. So it was to make high schoolers feel better about themselves.
That's it.
That's what I'm getting from that.
We all know how hard it is for high schoolers to feel good about themselves.
The message was that you did not have to be rich to wear a fancy frock, to be adorned with a corsage, or to waltz the night away. So yeah, make them feel better about themselves. I know you're in high school and you're a kid, and usually college students that have worked their way through life at this point, they get this as basically it sounds like a reward.
Yeah.
But this makes you feel bad. So we're going to give it to you. That's what it sounds like.
Oh, man. You're not yet college age and you haven't completed high school. Well, let's reward you anyways.
Yeah, literally. Prom became popular in the 1930s. And then by the 40s, teams came to be considered a distinct consumer category for prom. So it became less of a college thing, more of a high school thing in the 1940s. Late 1940s and 1950s became the golden age of prom. During this time, dances began moving from school gyms to luxe hotels and banquet rooms, and the crowning of prom kings and queens became commonplace. So this is like the 40s and 50s. So probably, after wartime was over, we probably just needed a pick-me-up.
Yeah. Like Greece.
Political unrest and the counterculture movements of the 1960s and 70s reduced the popularity of prom, leading many schools to cancel the dances altogether. Wild.
Interesting.
The lull didn't last long. By the 80s, attending the big dance came back into style, as evidenced by a host of popular, enduring prom-themed movies from the decade, including Pretty in Pink and Footloose. So they made some movies about prom, and everybody's like, hey, that sounds fun. Let's do that shit again. Because, media. Today's proms are big business. According to a 2015 Visa survey, the average cost of prom was $919 per person, which includes everything from attire and flowers to dinner, tickets, limo services, photography, and after parties, as well as the phenomenon of promposals, which I didn't experience that because Dylan and I were already dating, and I was like, you don't need to do the big thing. We're already going together. I never understood promposals unless you're already not together,
A promposal is literally just practice for asking somebody to marry you in the future. That's what that seems like.
I was like, I didn't even need to be asked to get married. He knew what I wanted. The survey found that American households spend an average of $324 alone on this practice, just the promposals, to make it elaborate, over-the-top invitations to dance.
Oh my God. This is like, I don't know.
That's all it tells me.
I don't want to seem like a not fun person, but like, to me, that's like the biggest waste of money. Like,
They didn't tell me
why?
what I wanted. So I found a picture when I was Googling different styles from each decade, because I tried to find a website that had each decade, and I couldn't find one that I was like happy with. So I went through each decade, and I started in the 30s, because that's when they became popular again.
Oh, okay.
I started in the 30s, and by the time I had gotten to the 90s is when I finally found a picture of all of the decades. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? So in 1894, there's no picture for it. Can you zoom in, please? Oh, wait. This is from the website Lulus.
Lewis or
Lulus. Lulus. Lulus? Fuck if I know. In 1894, the first ever recorded reference to a prom was found in the journal of a male Amherst college student, which we already covered. There's nothing about the styles there, but then you go to the 1900s, and while there are no photos of actual proms from the 1900s, here are some examples of formal attire that might have been worn during Victorian era dances. Like, if you were to watch a movie of women in the 1900s and they're at like a party, like a dinner party or whatever, it's a lot of those dresses, but more brightly colored, like oranges and pinks and blues and teals and stuff like that. Sorry, I don't know why I'm out of breath. And then you get
reading gets you out of breath.
And then you get to the 1910s, and you have sleek, opulent, and exotic, large, wide-brimmed hats shrank to smaller, flat hats. As women became more active with sports and dance, they began foregoing corsets at parties in order to move more freely. But good for them.
Yeah.
And then you get to the 1920s. Fashion experienced to a revolution in the 1920s, escaping the extravagant and restrictive nature of the Victorian and Edwardian periods. Dresses became more loose and revealing with androgynous silhouettes, so like A-line, Jazz played a vital role in encouraging women's fashion to be more free, fun, and dynamic, because that's what jazz is.
They needed.
The 30s, fashion became profoundly influenced by Hollywood, Grecian motifs, and Art Deco. Dresses were elegant, silky, and figure-hugging, often with puffy or flowing cape sleeves. Waist accentuation made a comeback. So they went from A-line dresses to it being like a bit tighter up top and then A-line at the bottom. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they would either...
Even like the flapper girl dresses were A-line.
Yeah.
Straight.
Yep. The 40s. World War II dominated this decade, and soldiers frequently wore their uniforms to dances at proms, which you see in a lot of media and a lot of pictures. Dresses were often homemade from recycling fabrics, which, I mean, saves money.
Yeah.
Gone with the Wind sparked a revival of Victorian-era styles. My mom and my grandma love that movie.
I still have never seen it.
I've never sat down and watched it,
Yeah.
but I can imagine, like, bits and pieces.
I've seen
Don't have
pictures,
context.
though, which, I mean, it's right up my alley for my style, too.
Yeah.
Like, you know, big,
Yeah.
flamboyant.
The 50s, which is, I mean, the most iconic. Full skirted T-length dresses became popular, so skirts became more puffy, and dresses became more extravagant and playful with ruffles, lace, tulle, and chiffon. Later in the decade, bare shoulders with curve-hugging bodices emerged. Skanks. Kidding. Accessories included shawls, satin gloves, and pearls. 60s, the empire waist became popular in the 60s. Skirts became slimmer and shorter, hair got bigger, and modest pastel shades gave way to bold pops of color. Which, yeah, very 60s.
Yeah.
And then the 70s, you had full skirts and hourglass silhouette. The full skirts and hourglass silhouette of the 60s led to belted waists. So belted waists were popular in the 70s. Supermodel Twiggy introduced the baby doll dresses. The bohemian garden party look with floral prints, crochet, flowing fabrics, floppy hats, and bows became popular for prom. Prom fashion of the 1970s was diverse, funky, and fresh, which I do like the prom trends of the 70s. I think they were very dainty. Yeah. In the 80s, you had big sleeves, big bows, big tulle skirts. Prom dress elements included shiny, shimmery fabrics, jewel tones, sheer gloves, ruffles, and drop waists with billowing or bubbled skirts.
We had a lot of those dresses in like the prop closets in our theater.
Ooh.
And I don't know what, like, they just, the fabric, just looking at the fabric alone always disgusted me.
Really?
I got the ick from all of the actual fabric.
Huh.
Not just like, oh, this is dirty, or like, oh, this smells bad, or anything like that. It was the
feel of the fabric. Yeah.
I was like, ick.
Yep. I think my personal favorite though might have been the 90s prom fashions because they were so simple. The 90s included 80s inspiration, which is long satin dresses, sequins, beadings, rosette, shoulder pads, black and white color schemes, velvet, off-the-shoulder mini dresses, and spaghetti strap minimalist dresses. Very simple, very sleek, chic, whatever.
I actually had a very 90s dress that I had gotten for one of the dances, but it was so out of place for when I was in high school. It was like, you know, if you picture like the 90s dresses that are just super just straight, a little bit form-fitted because they're a little stretchy, and then just those really small spaghetti straps. And it had like glitter, like rose silhouette outlines all over it, and then it had like a big slit.
That's so pretty.
And I think it actually had like fake feathers around the top.
Oh,
like the fluffy feathers that are in like a feather boa, but it was like around the top, and that was it. And I really liked it, but I didn't like how it fit me. And plus, it was like one of those dresses that like, if I went with that, everyone would be like,
"The fuck are you doing, Jamie?
Where'd you get that? Your mom's closet?" Oh.
God. That brings us to the 2000s, which included shawls, satin, minimalism, corset backs, cowl necks, aqua and chartreuse gowns, tiered gowns, beading, asymmetrical one shoulder or strapless dresses, rhinestone brooches, and animal print. Blech. Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera sparked a frenzy for two-piece sets, which some of the two-piece sets we have now are actually super cute. I almost got a two-piece set for my senior prom, but sometimes two-piece sets don't look good on me.
I don't know how I feel about two-piece sets as a parent.
Yeah.
Like, that's something that I would have been like, oh, I really wish I could wear that to, like, my high school dance. But, like, as a parent with a daughter, I'm like,
Yeah.
no two-piece sets.
Yeah. Going into the 2010s, popular prom fashions included long, ethereal dresses with subtle details, heavily beaded dresses, ruched necklines, vibrant prints, bejeweled bodices, less is more dresses, side cutouts, ombre, and vintage dresses toward the end of the decade. Which, yeah, the last decade we have is the 2020s. Which obviously has just started as it's only 2024, which the 2020s?
What about the 20-teens?
We just went through that. 2010s?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. We just did all that.
What did we talk about, or when did we talk about 2000 to 2010?
We did 2000s, which is 2002, 2010.
Yeah. Okay.
And then 2010s is 2010 to 2000. Get with it, Jamie.
I can't math. Leave me alone. I'm old.
And then we have the 2020s. So there's not like a set style right now to define it, as it's only 4 years in. Unfortunately, most high school students haven't had or didn't get a prom because of COVID. So it hasn't really given much room for a style to be set. But I've noticed when the style, when I saw my cousin go to prom last year when she was a junior.
Is it the Gen Z that's in
I think it's the last of Gen Z.
Okay. Gen Z.
My cousin is a senior in prom, a senior in high school this year. So last year she was telling me about like the dresses she wanted for her junior year, and I was not like helping her, but giving her advice. I offered her my old prom dress. Yeah. And the style hadn't seemed to change a whole lot from when I was in high school. And my senior prom, was the last senior prom before COVID. And then we had 2 years of no proms. And then I think last year was the first prom again, I think. Yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong. But this year I've seen a lot of TikToks from high school students about people talking about wearing Easter brunch dresses to prom.
Yes, I've seen
which
that too.
confuses me. But I think what they mean by Easter brunch dress is literally the 1970s style dresses.
Yeah.
That's probably what they mean, and they're just trying to renovate it, or they're just, forgive me for being mean, too stupid to say what it really is, because they haven't delved into it. You know what I mean?
You know what, though? They're kids, too.
Yeah.
Like, they're going to be stupid. It's what it is.
This isn't already a trend. It's new. We're creating it. This was done like 40 years ago. Also, I saw a TikTok, somebody saying, I think somebody was making like makeup looks through the decades for like the past 50 years. Mm-hmm. They started in the 80s. And people are like, the math ain't math in here, sis. And I'm like, my mom was born in 1978 and she'll be 46 this year. So make that make sense. Like, okay.
Math it correctly before you put it on.
Right.
You know what? In Mercury retrograde.
Whatever. But my junior prom, I went to both of my proms with your brother, who obviously I'm not married to. And
it sounded like you said, who obviously I'm not married.
That'd be awkward.
Weird.
Yeah. But my junior prom, I had a fitted, probably should not have, like, looking back at pictures, I'm like, that dress was not for my body type. Yeah. And it was
the one that I went with you.
No, you went homecoming dress shopping with me.
Oh, okay.
That one was very pretty.
That's
that
the
one I loved.
Where they kept selling all those velvet dresses.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, I wish I was in high school
Yeah.
now because I
Dude,
love
we
velvet
had
so
such a
much.
fun day picking out my
That was so
homecoming
fun.
dress, and I was so happy with that homecoming. Even though everybody was like, "You look naked with sparkles," I'm like,
Oh my God.
whatever. It was a gorgeous dress on me.
gorgeous.
I loved it.
I still love those pictures. Those are some of my favorite
Yep.
pictures of you and Dylan.
Yep. But my junior year prom dress was the burgundy one. My mom and I went dress shopping, and I have a bunch of pictures in my Snapchat saved because I had sent a bunch of different dresses to Dylan so he could like help me pick it out or whatever. And ultimately, my mom and I decided on like, it was like a mermaid style dress because it had a little bit of a train, but not a lot of one. And it was burgundy, and it had like a cross. There was no like rhinestones or anything. It was just a plain like evening gown almost. And it was gorgeous, but definitely was not for my body type. Which, I mean, you're a junior in high school. You don't really know how to fit to that kind of stuff yet.
The sad thing about high school is that you are expected to know how to look your best.
Yeah.
And you're really not. And this is something I wish high school kids know. Like, I don't really want high school kids to listen to some of our podcast episodes.
Yeah.
But, like, if I could influence high school girls specifically, like, don't follow the trends. Pick something that looks good on you.
Do what you want to do. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I've seen a lot of people saying too, is that because there's been a lot of discourse about doing the Easter brunch dress trend or keeping what the trend is already, because a lot of people are like, well, having the big gaudy dresses, the bright colors, the lots of rhinestones and sparkles, like that's what prom is. And I was talking to my mom about it, and even she was like, yeah, it's about going big and going out and, you know, being extravagant. So like in Easter brunch dresses aren't really that. Easter brunch is for like going to church. Like
the Easter brunch dresses, I could say homecoming.
Yeah.
Whatever your winter dance is called.
Yeah.
Ours was Winterfest.
Winterfest, yeah.
But or like snowball or whatever.
Yeah.
That's what I think for that. But like to me, I feel like this is like the common thing for prom is that yes, it is big. You wear long dresses for
Yeah.
it. Like big things are for long dresses.
Yes. That's like,
but
yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's a new age now.
Yeah.
It's literally the age of
Different
Aquarius.
generation. Yeah.
Like Aquarius is outside the norm.
Yeah.
Non-traditional stuff.
Which is why I'm like, it doesn't, because I mean, obviously I'm not in high school, so it doesn't affect me. It doesn't bother me. And kids are going to do what they want to do anyways. But I'm like we already said, do what you want to do.
Yeah.
Do what makes you happy.
Well,
do what makes you feel good.
Yeah. The trends are going to go away. And when you're out of school for 10 plus years, you're going to look back and say, ick.
Yeah.
Just like I have.
Yeah.
My pictures. And those were extremely in style dresses.
Yeah.
Those were like top notch. And still I'm like,
yeah. Which brings me to my senior year dress, which was that ball gown. It was gold. It had sparkles. And my mom and I were just talking about how my senior year of prom, I had a very specific vision for my senior prom dress. And it was long sleeves and navy blue with like a lace top and ball gown. So I stuck with the ball gown that I wanted. But I just was not finding the dress I wanted.
You never
and
can.
My grandma and my mom were like, honey, just please try this dress. Please just try it. And I'm like, no, it's not what I'm looking for. It's not what I want. And they're like, just try it. So I finally,
I want what I want.
Yeah. So I finally tried it on, fell in love with the dress.
Yeah.
It had pockets and it was beautiful and I loved it. And then my friend, I want to say she was my best friend at the time. She was my auto tech partner. She did my makeup for prom that year. But unfortunately, the day of my senior prom, I started my period and was sick and tired and in pain the whole time. So I barely did any dancing. I think our junior year, Dylan and I went to the town up north to their local sports bar for food. And then senior year we just went to Applebee's.
Okay.
So imagine walking into Applebee's with your giant sparkly dress. I know it was a lot of fun though. And then they had my junior year at a golf club in
The next
at a
town over?
golf. It was no, it's like half an hour away. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But we had that at a golf club. And then we had our senior year prom also at a golf club, but the opposite
Golf
direction.
club.
Yeah, I'm fucking up. But both locations were so pretty because the one at junior prom, it was up on a second floor and
Oh.
it had a balcony so you could go out and look out over the golf course, and it had like hills, and then there was like a pond in the distance, and the sun was setting over the pond, and it was absolutely pretty.
Aw.
And then the one, my senior year prom, was generally the same, but it wasn't as open. There was more trees. And it was really pretty. I feel like we looked at both places the last time we planned our wedding before we were like, yeah, we're not going to invite anybody but parents and who we had when we were going to try to invite more people and just decided not to. We were looking at having it at both places because of how pretty they were.
Yeah.
Ultimately, obviously, didn't. But and then Dylan he wore a black suit or black tux with a white shirt under both times. And then he had a burgundy tie on for junior prom, and we found a matching gold one for my dress for senior year.
You guys
we looked so good. Yes. And he has this picture of me. He took a picture of me where like he said something and I gave him like the sassy look and he took a picture, and it's one of his favorite pictures of me. And I'm going to have to find it.
Those candid, like quick pictures like
Yep.
that.
I was like half posed because he was in the middle of taking pictures of me smiling, and he said something or somebody in the back said something stupid, and I gave this like sharp look like, and he took a picture and he's like, this is my woman. So yeah.
My junior prom, we're planning it for the seniors, right?
Yeah.
You know, of course the seniors are like, we don't want it on site. We want it someplace else. Like, okay, fine.
Mm-hmm.
We would have more money for decorations to make it look really nice
Yeah.
if we just had it at the school. But everyone's too good to have their prom at their high school now, which I cannot fucking stand. I hate that. But recently I heard that our high school had their prom in the courtyard
Oh, really?
of the high school.
That's so pretty. That courtyard is so pretty.
cute.
Yeah, that's so pretty, and that saves so much money.
Oh my god, I know. What can you like picturing the courtyard in your head? The string lights everywhere. Like
Pretty.
that's the most adorable thing ever.
And
Like,
it's
how
so
adorable.
easy to access too. Like the parking lot's right there.
Nobody has to pay to travel anywhere.
And there's
like,
doors that go right inside if it's cold.
Yeah.
That's
and
awesome.
Then there's the gymnasium that's, right around the corner.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is how adorable. Like,
Yeah.
that right there is adorable to me. But the problem with prom, too, is a lot of times when you're the juniors planning it, you have to do what the seniors want. More or less. And usually if the seniors were like, well, we had to put on prom for the seniors when we were juniors and they had to go someplace else, so we want to go someplace else too, like we deserve that. And I'm like, okay, well, the chain never ends there. Like, somebody's got to stop it. Somebody's just got to end it.
Yeah.
So when we planned prom when I was a junior, it was like our night under the stars or some shit. It was very pretty. Like, we had it at a place. That place is no longer in business now, even.
Oh.
But it was really pretty. They had like a balcony. You go out.
Okay.
It was, like, right next to like a lake.
Like a terrace almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that was, it was pretty for pictures, and it turned out okay. I still had fun. And then senior prom, you know how I like to be in charge.
Yeah.
I was like, for our senior prom, I was just like, why can't we have it at the school? And everyone's like, no, that whole thing that I just explained. And I'm like, oh my God, you guys are so insufferable. And so the juniors had to have it someplace else. I don't remember that. I think the theme was like a night in Venice or something.
Oh.
And I don't know. Why have a theme if you're not going to do anything with it?
Nobody dresses to the theme, so what's the point?
Right. Well, the junior prom, it was our night under the stars. I literally dressed like a celebrity on a red carpet because that was what it was supposed to be. And nobody else did that. I'm like, what? you people have no poetry or
because
any
what's the purpose?
sense of
Yeah.
theatrical whatever.
Right.
What have you. The dress that I wore for junior prom was the prettiest dress I've ever seen. It was like super low cut.
Ooh.
And strapless. But me having the chest of a 12-year-old boy at the time, I had to have mom like sew some straps on it because I was so self-conscious. Said nothing to hold it up or nothing to fill it out. But it was like satin red.
Ooh.
And it had like rhinestones all over the place. It was so pretty. And the back had like a bustle. So it looked like almost like a Victorian bustle butt. And then it had a train.
I love that.
And then I wore white gloves. And then I had a fur shawl that I wore also.
Wow.
I definitely stuck out like a sore thumb.
Mm-hmm. Especially in the late 2000s. Like when everybody at that time was
2009, 2010.
Yeah,
that was not the style, but I preferred it that way.
Highlighter colors were in style at that point for prom.
Oh my god, you're right.
Yeah,
because
it was all about
homecoming. It was like the neons.
Yep, neons and highlighter colors and the
right.
big gaudy jewels on dresses and terrible. Sorry, late 2000s fashion was not good.
I have flashbacks right now. God awful.
I don't know how I remember this because I was 8 years old at the time.
And then senior prom, I ended up borrowing a dress from my cousin, and going. And I have no recollection of my senior prom.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's just because, I don't know, maybe I was too disappointed. I have no idea. But, like, it's not like I was disappointed in, like, oh, the juniors didn't do a good job. They're kids.
Yeah.
They're kids. But it's just, nothing stood out to me.
Yeah.
I mean, we had a limo and everything that we took there. That was fun. But I really don't remember even what the place looked like. No recollection.
Yeah.
And I didn't go drink. I didn't try anything.
I didn't do that shit either because it's dumb.
It is dumb.
It's dangerous.
I thought it was stupid then, and I still think it's stupid.
It is.
And Jesus, get out of the way. But junior prom, I didn't have a date to junior prom. Nobody asked me to dance. I didn't have a date to senior prom. Nobody asked me to dance.
Oh my goodness.
And I went home, and that's when I was like, I'm very ugly.
No, you're not. Shut the hell up.
Extremely ugly, and that's what it is. And that was my whole thing in high school, was just like, nobody has tried to talk to me except for one person. I must be so fucking ugly. Like, I must be, something about me is so unattractive and unappealing.
Or they were just intimidated by you.
That's what my husband said.
Yep, they were just intimidated by you.
Like, I showed him, like, the pictures of, like, prom and everything like that. And he goes, I wouldn't have even asked you to dance. You're too intimidating.
Yeah.
Like, that would have scared me. I'm like, are you fucking serious?
That's
like,
funny.
It took you till you were, like, 23 to approach somebody you're intimidated by? He's like, yes. Like, he's like, I would have wanted to talk to you in high school because you're beautiful then.
Yeah.
But, like, he's like, I would not have. I 100%
Scary.
I'm like, was I really that intimidating?
Probably.
Like, I know you've told me that you were intimidated by me
when I first met you, yeah. But I wasn't. You were the most intimidating out of the family when I met you guys, but I was intimidated to meet all of you.
Yeah.
So, because I had only met, I had 2 other boyfriends before Dylan that I met the parents of. And, I mean, it's not relevant, but I'm always afraid to meet parents. I don't have to be anymore.
I was never afraid to meet parents. And then, surprisingly, in high school, I got voted, like, most likely to bring, or, like, the bring home to mom person.
Wow.
Mom. because there was like 4 of us. There's 2 guys and 2 girls. I got
Yeah.
And I forgot all the things that I got voted for until I looked in my yearbook. But you know, when you graduate with a class of 46, you tend to get doubles of things.
Yeah.
Like everyone got voted for something at least twice.
I don't even know. I didn't get a yearbook. I was like, I don't want that. I don't have any yearbooks.
Really?
Yeah, because I was just like, meh. So if I got voted for something, I have no idea what it was. And we had a class of like 20 something people.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
There was a lot of the dresses when I was like a junior and senior, 2009, 2010. They would have like beading all along the straps.
Yeah.
And like around this way. A lot of it really had to play into open back. There was a lot of like thick straps.
Yeah.
With like, you know, peekaboo areas in the back. Some of them did have real flashy prints, like where it was like cheetah print and then tropical.
Yeah.
They were just very colorful, but it was tasteful.
Yeah.
You know, some of them were, you know, still a little plain too. And a lot of rhinestones beading. I don't know. But then there was a lot of sparkle everywhere.
Yeah, I remember the sparkle.
Yes. There was a lot of dresses that I specifically wore for dances that had like sparkle outlines of flowers all over, just like that 90s dress that I told you.